All right, so a lot of you have asked me what I think of the Harley-Davidson Police Road Glide. Well, I got to test ride it on the competition courses behind me here. And I'm going to tell you, well, my thoughts and kind of what I experienced when I ride it, and whether you should switch from the Police Street Glide and possibly consider the Harley Road Glide. All right, at the 2023 North American Motors Officers Association MOA conference in Yakima, Washington, my normal bike that I ride, my police bike, 18 Electra Glide. I'm going to wander over to the Harley booth here. Hey Ted, can I take the roadie out?
Yeah.
Can I take the Road Glide out for a bit? Cool.
It's all yours.
Nice, thanks.
You got it.
So I'm giving you my experiences on the Road Glide from the perspective of a police motors officer and instructor. So obviously I got my street glide here, normally what I'm riding and training on, but I did want to take this Road Glide out. Obviously, you know, the biggest differences are the street glide, your fairing is turning with the bars, and your Road Glide is a fixed fairing and the bars turn within. Other than that, as far as the frame and everything else, they're really the exact same bike. Now I will tell you that I've ridden Road Glides. I have friends that have them out on the street, but I've never actually ridden a Road Glide in a competition course, so I was excited to do it. I'll tell you that going into it, my thoughts were that maybe it was going to be a little bit more nimble because I'm not having to turn the fairing as I'm transitioning and bar locking like I have to do on the street glide. And I thought maybe because of that it might be a little bit more nimble as far as dipping and transitioning. So obviously I had to get out on it. I went out, did some practice. It's got the 114 it. Yeah, you can blip it a couple times and pop some wheelies, so it's got plenty of power there. And I just needed to warm up on it. You know, it's got different bars and I just really needed to feel it. So I took, you know, 4 or 5 minutes doing some bar lock turns, running a couple training patterns, and heck, then I was ready to get into the course. So a couple things I noticed immediately. Number one, the myth that I had in my head that it was going to be easier to really turn those bars and transition. Now I was somewhat perplexed by that because like I said, going into it, I really thought that I could whip those bars around more, but I will tell you, I didn't feel any more freedom not having the fairing turn with me. Also say that the Road Glide, immediately as I was on the courses with it, it didn't transition as quickly, which is interesting. What I mean by that is getting into that bar lock quick. Now granted, I haven't had a ton of time on it, but I immediately felt it. And I have to believe that the street glide transitions a little quicker because you have a little bit of the weight of the fairing, and when you get in that bar lock, it sets it quicker, and the bike dips a little quicker. Interesting because they're the same frame, but that was just my experience. That could have something to do with the different bars too. So I did find a little more effort having to transition. Now obviously, if I was out here, you know, riding every pattern 10, 20 times, you know, I could dial it in more. Obviously other people wanted to use the bike and I didn't want to keep it all day. But I did find, obviously you've got the fixed fairing and it's different. So hitting your marks, obviously it just take a little bit of time, a day on the course, and you'd have it dialed in. I guarantee I could dial it in and get the course just as fast as on my street glide. I don't see any issues there. You just have to use a little more effort to get into that transition, but that's all stuff that can be dialed in. And that's just time on it and figuring out where that fairing sits in relation to the cones, you know, and looking down and where you want to hit your marks and things like that. So that was obviously a little bit different, but again, rode the course no problem with it. So I will say, fun factors there. It's always fun trying a new bike, especially on a course like this. So I really had a lot of fun on the Road Glide. and I was getting used to it on the limited time that I had it, getting those transitions, a little more input to get the bike dipped over and back over. Again, those bar locks were pretty much the same as on this. The bars are just a little bit different, but fun-wise, it was awesome. So at the end of the day, I'm going to keep this short. After my experience on the Police Road Glide, you know, in comparison to my street glide, honestly, I don't see any benefit going to it. There's no major benefits from switching if you're running street glides to a road glide. Really, in my opinion, riding it and testing it, it would really, all it would come down to is whether you like the looks of that shark nose or Batwing. With that said, they're both completely capable bikes for law enforcement, police work, and riding these courses. They're both going to do it fine once you learn the few differences between the two. Yeah, thank you. It's fun. When are these going to be out? You don't know? Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
So with that said, don't go rushing to switch to road glides because somebody tells you they're better. I really don't think so. That's my opinion. But definitely, if your fleet is up for new bikes, then definitely consider it and give it a ride and see what you think. Let me know in the comments below. All right, now I got to get out. I want to get some more riding in. I'm popping a couple videos on the screen here for you. Hopefully something useful or entertaining. Heck, maybe both. At any rate, when you're done watching videos, get out there and ride every chance you get, bikeaholics. Peace.